Let's get into the UFC. We had Nashville's own Michael Chandler in tough against the friggin' monster of Justin Gaethje. Oh my God, what a fight!
Chandler, you could call monster too.
100%, 100%. These guys, I mean, where do you even
start? One of them is Godzilla and one of them is Morpha.
Yeah.
I mean, they're both monsters. I mean, take your pick as far as what you like.
I was telling Rob when we were together yesterday after the marathon, I was like, dude, I'm out of adjectives to even use to describe these guys. I cannot call them tough because this is like a next level of tough. It's almost like we have to find a word that hasn't been invented because these guys basically engaged in a 15-minute face-punching contest. At one point, Chandler, late in the fight, just kept his hands down and took about 6 punches from Gaethje for no apparent reason other than to say, like, I can take everything you've got, and his face was a mess. He
almost got to a place. See, I always talk about this sport, and I always talk about my sport and the UFC sport, where, amongst other things, one thing in common, it's 75% mental. It is. And to your point, when Chandler got to that place, where he looked like he was just like, God, come on at me. I'll give you another clip, my man. Another clip with that great movie with Tom Hanks. Was it Gump? I don't know.
Forrest Gump?
Yeah, I don't know if it was. Yeah, it was Gump. Where there's the part, there were so many parts to that movie.
Yeah.
But the part where he went in the war and he got injured, but he saved his sergeant. But his sergeant lost his legs.
Yes.
And the sergeant was angry at him for saving him because he lost his legs. But then the sergeant came to seek him out because Forrest had gone into the shrimping business. The shrimping business. And he was out shrimping. Yeah, Bubba Gump, shrimp. And he was out there, looking for shrimp. And they weren't finding no shrimp. They were having a tough time. Like, you got to follow your dreams. You got to chase your dreams. You got to stay with it. You believe? Stay with it. That's destiny. What's destiny? You making it destiny. That's destiny. You make it, having faith. That is the ingredient to destiny. You will get your destiny. And he believed and he kept trying. And then Sergeant came and he was with Forrest and they were on a shrimping boat and they weren't getting any of his partners with him now. And they're not getting any shrimp. And there's a storm. They're out at sea, there's a storm. And he's up on the top of the mast. He climbed up to the top of the mast, and he's screaming, come on, come on. That's all you got. It was like a hurricane.
Yeah.
Like all the other ships got destroyed. There were no more ships. Everyone got destroyed except that ship. And he said, that's all you got. Come on, come with it. And then when it settled down and it calmed down, there were no more ships. They caught all the shrimp. They became zillionaires, right? Yeah. So, but that's almost what Chandler was. He was like the sergeant up on the top of the mast with the storm coming, with lightning coming, with the rain coming, with the winds coming, everything coming. Come on, that's all you got. Come on, more. And that's what he was. And I was talking about this in one of the interviews after the fight that I did with the UFC. Great people, good people that allow me in there. I appreciate it. They allow this peasant into their thrones, into their great place there, and just a boxing guy. But I appreciate they let me in. And I was saying that it was also like that, but it was also like the Rocky movie, where Rocky's fighting that big Russian guy. And he got dropped about 400 times, movies, whatever. He got dropped a few times. And then all of a sudden he says, I ain't getting dropped no more. He says in the corner, I ain't going down no more. I ain't going down no more. Yeah. And he goes out there and he's getting hit. And he just keeps coming. He ain't going down no more. He made up his mind. The mental part, he made up his mind. He ain't going down no more. There's something to be said about it. When a guy makes up his mind, he ain't going to get knocked out. Usually he ain't getting knocked out unless he gets hit a punch he doesn't see.
Yeah.
Where you don't have time to brace yourself for it. To get that will out in front. To keep yourself from going to that dark room. To get yourself to go back to the light. Unless you hit him with a punch that you don't see, you ain't getting him down. You ain't getting him out. And that's that mental part, that's what it was like. To your point, that Chandler got to that place, like, you ain't hurting me no more, you know? Yeah, come on, you know? And it made for great theater, but it makes for true life. That when you set yourself, when you get your will, that's steeled. You could find a way to get through just about anything. Mm-hmm. And that's where he got to. So in that fight, you had everything. I mean, it was just extraordinary, as you just started saying. I think one of the things for me, breaking it down from a mechanical standpoint, from a X and O standpoint, besides just the wills of the two, because those were battles of wills, there's no doubt about it, was you had this great two guys that are really, I mean, they could go on the floor, they could go on the mat, they could stand, they stood the whole time, for the most part. And they're doing the striking. And the punches are coming from here. And they're coming from the shoulder level, for the people that are listening to us, you know, without the visual, without the video, where the punches are coming from the shoulder. So the eyes are lining up with the punches and getting used to the punches coming from there. And what was brilliant was both of them, but first, someone's got to be first. Gaethje changed the level because it was back and forth, ebbs and flows, and he changed the level, bang, to an uppercut. It was brilliant. Nobody really talked about it. It was brilliant because we see the obvious, oh, he hit him with an uppercut. But what was brilliant about it was that he changed the level from the punches where Chandler was zoned in to this, where his eyes was seeing it. What did I just say before? The punch that will hurt even the toughest guy in the world is what?
The one you don't see.
The one you don't see. So he went from here, boom, to the uppercut, and that hurt him. That dropped him. That's where. And here's what's even double brilliant, that made the fight even more amazing, was later on, when Gaethje had the edge, all of a sudden, again, they're going back and forth. What does Chandler do? Boom! He changes the level in the direction of the punch to the uppercut, and he hurts him. Wow.
That's crazy.
Wow. It was brilliant. Listen, the card, we're going to go through every fight, but the card was brilliant. The whole card, every one of those people were brilliant. The women, the men, they were brilliant. Dana White was brilliant. I mean, give him credit. You know, their matchmaker, you know his name, the matchmaker of UFC.
Yes,
I met him one time at the airport. Real gentleman. He came up to me, and I remember right away when I met him, I said to him, hey, you know, I don't do this to too many people in a fight plan. Congratulations, you're good. You're good. The people in boxing,
Sean Shelby.
Not so good. Here it is. Not so good. Good job. Good. No. Well, you ran a marathon. You ran a marathon, brother. I mean, it's okay. You're good. But I'm trying. You know what? I'm trying to remember more because it was almost too much to bring in. Right?
I agree.
It was like being in a tornado and trying to explain to people what the experience was like.
When the mask got ripped off, when the spinnaker flew away, you were just like,
when the chair came flying across the bow, when a couch came flying, when a cow came flying. You know, really.
Yeah, it was crazy.
Oh, yeah, it was spectacular.
That fight was worth the entire pay-per-view. It was, you could have paid, if you would pay $70 just to see that fight, I'd be like, oh, that's good value. That's entertainment. And congratulations to Gaethje, claimed his spot for the number 2 spot. It looks like he may be next in line to get the winner of our man Dustin Poirier on December 11th against Charles Oliveira in Vegas for the title. So that'll be interesting to see. A lot of people calling for
that Oliveira Poirier fight's going to be a great fight.
Oh, hell yeah.
It's going to be a tough fight.
Oh, my God.
I mean, again, Exhibit A in a courtroom, if I'm fighting and trying to explain to the boxing people, my boxing fans, because I don't love all boxing people, but the boxing fans that I love, the reason why I talk about UFC is they're entitled to be talked about that their ratings went up because they put on fights where you could make an argument that either guy could win. There's not too many of those. There's not too many of those fights put on in boxing.